And on Friday afternoon, the phone rang, and the station owner, his name was Herb Scott, called and he said, I can find absolutely nobody else to do this game tomorrow. It's between you and dead air. And I looked up at the clock and saw the zeros, and I said, the pass is incomplete. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. And then all I could say, and it just flowed, I said, Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
I'm Greg Murphy.
I'm Sam Stafford.
I'm Todd Zalecki.
This is Ruben Amaro.
I'm Jim Salisbury.
Hi, I'm Merrill Reese. Welcome to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism.
How do they do that?
A vacation in Montgomery County, PA is so affordable, you might lose your cool.
Oh, geez. Don't worry about it. It's free.
Feel free to explore the soldiers' huts.
Free? Yes!
Parking is free!
Free!
It's free!
With so many affordable things in Montgomery County, go ahead. Freak out.
Philadelphia's favorite sports boutique and Wayne's favorite card store have joined forces to create an exciting new experience on the main line. Together, Shibe Vintage Sports and Wheelhouse Cards are offering fans a one-stop shop for throwback sports clothing, cards, memorabilia, and more, all the while supporting small community businesses. Be sure to check out their new locations in downtown Wayne, on Paoli Pike in Westchester, and online at shibesports.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. I'm Greg Murphy. If you're a Philadelphia sports fan, you certainly know his legendary voice. He has been a part of the Philadelphia sports landscape for decades. And now he's receiving a prestigious award from the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Our Sam Stafford got a chance to catch up with him and gauge his excitement.
Thanks, Greg. I'm here with legendary broadcaster and 2024 Pete Rozelle Radio and Television Award winner, Merrill Reese. And Merrill, congratulations first off on the award. Now tell us, what was it like when you got the call?
It was amazing. I was driving out to a golf match, which is not unusual this time of year, and I looked at and the phone rang in the car, and I looked at the screen, and it said Canton, Ohio. And I thought, I don't know anybody in Canton, Ohio. And I picked up the phone, or answered the phone, and the voice said, Merrill, this is Jim Porter, president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Are you driving? I said, I am. He said, you might want to pull over. So I pulled over, and he said, I want to congratulate you. You're the winner of the Pete Rozelle Award, and you'll be entering the Hall of Fame the first weekend in August. So all I could do was cry. I mean that. I'm not that kind of emotional person. And I remember when I was notified that I was being put into the Eagles Hall of Fame, I was just so happy and outgoing, and boy, that's great. But this just hit me in such a way, the magnanimity of it, the fact that it was the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And it was something that I had never thought about, something that I never envisioned, something that was never on a bucket list, because to me, it didn't exist. And then he told me that I could not tell anybody for 24 hours. It was going to be revealed the next day at 11 o'clock, except for my wife. So I called my wife, and I started to sob. And she said, are you in a car accident? Are you hurt? And I'm saying, no, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. And I was never like that before.
Well, I don't know if you even know this, but you are just the third radio team play-by-play announcer to get this award. Does that add any extra emotion to it?
Just being part of it. You look at the list of people who have won that award, and really I'm humbled with all of the greats in the broadcasting field, many of them on the executive side. presidents of networks and sports directors and people who are big personalities like John Madden, and of course the network guys who I'm very friendly with, like Jim Nance and Joe Buck.
Now, you are a true Philly icon. You went to Overbrook High School and Temple University, so homegrown. And you already said you could have never imagined this. What did you expect when you got into this industry?
Well, my goal, see, I always tell people, they say, you have your dream job. And I say, well, not really, because my dream job was to be the quarterback. but at 5'8" and 140 pounds, there was a chance you go into something else. And I did major. And in my high school yearbook, where it says your dream, mine said to be a play-by-play sportscaster. My career was not going to be revolving around playing a sport, but broadcasting it. And that's what I wanted. And I also had a little bit of a background in that I had a mother who was a teacher, a kindergarten teacher, but she had a show business flair. And as a kid, she got me into doing commercials. So I did a lot of television commercials, live television commercials, growing up probably between the ages of 8 and 12. So I had a little bit of a head start in this field.
You don't just jump up to the top and get your almost dream job, I'll say, for you. So how did you start out? Tell us about the beginning of your career.
Oh, my goodness. It took years. It really did take years, because after my stint as a naval officer, and I came out, I was knocking on doors. I would go around to the stations in Philadelphia, and I got nothing. And I would send letters out, and I used to respond to ads in Broadcasting Magazine, and I had nothing. And then I auditioned at a station in Coatesville, WCOJ, and the station owner came out. His name was Bill Halpern. And he said, you can't start here. You're going to have to start someplace small. Now, this was in Coatesville. so by this time, my confidence that I had built during college, because I was sports director of the student station, and I had done college. I did all the Big Five games, and I did Temple football and baseball. I felt pretty good about my broadcasting at that point. But by this point, I hadn't done it in a while, and my confidence had gone. And then somebody told me that a station in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, was looking for someone to do a high school game on a Saturday afternoon. So I drove up there, and I had an interview with the station owner, and he said to me, I give you a chance, but you look like you'd have a nervous breakdown. So he said, but thank you for stopping in. And on Friday afternoon, the phone rang, and the station owner, his name was Herb Scott, called, and he said, I can find absolutely nobody else to do this game tomorrow. It's between you and dead air. And so with that ringing endorsement, I went up and I did a game between Pottsgrove and Springford. And as the game went on, I became more and more comfortable. And on Monday morning, he called and offered me a full-time job, 7 days a week, $65 a week.
How did you keep that mindset of keep trying to pursue with all those negativities that you first heard?
I will admit that every 6 months or so, I would start to feel it's not going to happen, but then I'd lift myself up, dust myself off, as they say, and start all over again. So I just didn't give up.
So for anybody else out there that's looking to get into broadcasting and possibly become the next Merrill Reese, what advice would you give them?
It has to be the most important thing in your life. It's got to be something you think about morning, noon, and night, that there are going to be many, many doors closed in your face. And you've got to be able to be strong enough. I mean, you'll feel the effects of it. It's unrealistic to say that you won't get down, but you've got to. I tell people the most important word they should learn is resilience. You must be resilient. You must be able to keep that belief and just keep going.
All right, time now to throw it over to Philadelphia's preeminent quizmaster. It's Johnny Goodtimes, and he's got some baseball trivia.
What Phillies skipper was National League Manager of the Year in 1962 and again in 1964?
BetPark's online casino and sportsbook. You love to play, you play to win, you bet,
Bet Parks.
When you open the Bet Parks app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the anticipation of another face card, the thrill of an extra spin, and the pure joy of a jackpot. It's all your favorite games at your fingertips. Plus, get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. Bet Parks.
Phillies Nation is your source for breaking news, original analysis, trade insights, and more. With credentialed access, our team of writers brings you first-hand accounts from your favorite players on today's team, minor league prospects of the future, and Phillies alumni from the past. Join our community and connect with hundreds of thousands of diehard fans through our social media, road trips, tailgate parties, and charity events. Don't miss a thing. Be sure to visit PhilliesNation.com every single day.
Welcome to This Week in Philly Baseball History, presented by Shibe Vintage Sports. This week in 2005, Bobby Abreu broke home run derby records with 24 homers in the first round and 41 overall at the All-Star Game in Detroit. A year later, Ryan Howard outslugged rivals David Wright and Miguel Cabrera to win the Derby in Pittsburgh. Celebrate more Philly sports history with clothing from Shibe Vintage Sports, where there's a story in every stitch. Visit them at 13th and Walnut Streets or at shibesports.com.
What Phillies skipper was NL Manager of the Year in 1962 and again in 1964? Gene Mauch, probably better known for his late season pitching rotation in the 1964 collapse than his Manager of the Year award.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. I'm Greg Murphy. Sam Stafford continues her conversation with soon-to-be Hall of Famer Merrill Reese. They talk about his radio partner and about those memorable words he used as the Eagles won their first Super Bowl back in 2018.
Merrill, you're about to head into your 48th season as radio play-by-play
I started at 14. You realize that.
Everybody can tell, believe me. But more than half of those have been alongside another great, Mike Quick. Can you tell us about that relationship between the two of you?
Mike's just a great guy. Mike, the player, and I established a friendly relationship. I mean, he was always very kind to the media, and he was one of the great wide receivers. And as you said, it is his 26th year, and we have a friendship that extends beyond the booth. We play golf together. We go to each other's family celebrations. So Mike is a great friend, and we have a lot of fun.
Have you gotten a chance to really talk to him, I'm sure, about this award? He did mention that the only thing that could make him happier was if he won the award, but he was proud of you.
He was so unbelievably joyful, and it made me feel good. Actually, the first person, when it was revealed, who called me, and he was almost crying with happiness, was the great Harold Carmichael, who just got into the Hall of Fame himself 2 years ago.
Wow. Yes, so many memories. So I mentioned you're a homegrown guy. A lot of people obviously already know that. But what was it like to witness and to be able to call your Philadelphia Eagles in 2018 as Super Bowl champs?
You know, it's interesting. Many times I would be a guest on the morning show with Angelo Cataldi, and he would say to me, you know, I want the Eagles to win a Super Bowl for you because you've done it for so many years. I mean, you deserve that. And I was not being disingenuous when I said to him, you know what, I've had so many great moments, so many miracles of the Meadowlands and different things to call. I want them to win it for the fans, because the fans are the ones who go out there, rain, snow, sleet, good teams, bad teams. Some people take second mortgages to buy season tickets. They spend their last dollars around Christmas time to get their kids Eagles jerseys and memorabilia. I want it for the fans. And during the week, Paul Domwich of the Inquirer did a story on me, and he said, if the Eagles should win this game, will you have something written, something prepared? And I said to him, no. And some announcers do, knowing that those words are going to live forever, write a couple of sentences or even a paragraph. And I said, no. I said, if it happens, I want it to come from my heart. And so indeed, here we were with one play left, Eagles up by 8 points, and we were seated at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis in a corner of the end zone, the far end zone. So that play was going to take place 110 yards away from where I was seated. And I was worried. I was really worried because I didn't want to be known as the announcer who blew the end of the Super Bowl. But inexplicably, as Brady went back and he unleashed that pass, it all slowed down like one of those NFL films where you can see it in slow motion. And I watched it as the ball was batted around and it hit the ground. And I looked up at the clock and saw the zeros. And I said, the pass was incomplete. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. And then all I could say, and it just flowed, I said, Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Oh, wow.
That was the moment.
I think that's something that'll live on forever for so many people. But talk about your relationship with the fans. Do you get any time to see them? Obviously, you're talking to them every single Sunday.
Well, I am, and I think it's wonderful to be able to communicate with the greatest, the most passionate football fans in the country. There's no fans any place that show more passion. And the players who are here for a while understand that if they have a bad half and they're coming off, they're going to get booed. Not because they're not loved, but because the fans are at that moment in pain. That's being in Philadelphia. They're great fans. I love them.
I love it. You talked about the miracle of the Meadowlands a little bit. You mentioned it. So what are, besides the Super Bowl, what are some of your favorite Eagles memories? It doesn't even have to be a part of the game. It can be behind the scenes.
Well, my favorite Eagles memory, other than the Super Bowl, would be December 19th, 2010. And that was the Giants Stadium. And the Eagles were playing so badly that I said something at halftime like the score is the Giants 23, the Eagles are still at the hotel. And then back they came. And Michael Vick completed a pass to Brent Selleck, and it went 64 yards for a touchdown. Then David Akers with an onside kick recovered by Riley Cooper. And Vick marched them down again. And Vick scored on a quarterback draw. In fact, I say that game had Michael Vick had the best 30 minutes of quarterbacking I've ever seen. And then ultimately, it was Vick to Jeremy Maclin in the far corner of the end zone inside the left pylon. And the Giants had one more shot, and the Eagles' defense shut them down, and Mitch Dodge went back to punt. And I remember Mike saying there is no way he is punting to Deshaun Jackson. And inexplicably, he did. And Jackson muffed the punt, and he picked up the ball, and the Red Sea opened, and Jason Avant blocked somebody downfield, and then Deshaun comes to the 1 yard line, and he's doing a pirouette and a dance, and I'm saying, I don't care what he does, but he's got to get into the end zone, and he disappeared into the end zone. And that was the most electric, dramatic game I have ever done.
Just hearing you talk about that, you've done almost 50 years of play-by-play for the Eagles, and you are just taking me through games play-by-play. How does your brain work that you memorize all of
I don't know,
these?
but if Cindy asked me to pick up a quart of milk on the way home, invariably I forget.
I love it.
It's cluttered with football plays.
It's fascinating. You have seen a ton of talent. You talked about Mike Vick right there, but what was the greatest talent you've ever seen on the field?
You know, as a player, as a talent, there have been a lot of great talents. I mean, we saw Harold Carmichael go into the Hall of Fame, and we saw Brian Dawkins go into the Hall of Fame. I mean, Dawk was absolutely great. The single most exciting player was Randall Cunningham because he could do anything. He was the ultimate weapon. But the greatest talent in my tenure, which began in '77 to this day, the single greatest talent was possessed by number 92, Reggie White. Reggie White, in my opinion, was the best defensive end who ever played football.
I did see when you got this award, you did an interview and you said that you will never willingly retire and they'll have to take you out in a crane. I love that. I feel like many people hope you never retire, and hopefully that's many, many years away from now, that situation. But what's it mean to you that so many people, when they think of Eagles football and when they think of these gigantic, memorable plays, that they'll hear those plays called in your voice?
It means a lot that I could in some way enhance their enjoyment of this great sport. But I will tell you this, Sam, when we stand for the national anthem before every game and you have that, 90 seconds of silence, I look down and I always say every game to myself, there's no place in the world I'd rather be, and there's nothing in the world I'd rather be doing.
Oh, I love it so much. I can feel the love in my heart that you have for this team, and it's just incredible. And I'm sure actually, I'm not sure, I know all of Philadelphia is in love with Merrill Reese, and hopefully we see you for many, many more years.
I hope so, and I love doing it.
And now a crazy Philadelphia sports story.
During World War II, most able-bodied men in America were drafted, leaving NFL rosters severely depleted. The Philadelphia Eagles and Pittsburgh Steelers decided to join forces for the 1943 season as the Phil Pitt Combine, but quickly became known as the Steagles. The team played their home games at Shibe Park and finished third in the Eastern Conference that year with a record of 4-5-1. The two teams promptly disbanded following the season, with the Eagles fielding a full squad for the 1944 season and beyond. The Steagles set records in the stands and on the field, finishing above 500 for the first time and setting a new attendance record.
Parx Casino. This is how you win.
It's summer at Parx Casino, and the weather isn't the only thing that's hot. Slots are hot, table games are hot, sportsbook is hot, live entertainment and restaurants are sizzling hot. And check out the X Club. Join and instantly get $20 free slot play. Plus, we'll match your tiered card from another casino. It's time for some hot summer action at the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. And now 100% smoke-free. Parx Casino, this is how you win.
A vacation in Montgomery County, PA is so affordable, you might lose your cool.
Oh, geez. Don't worry about it. It's free.
Feel free to explore the soldiers' huts.
Free? Yes! Parking is free! Free! It's free!
With so many affordable things in Montgomery County, go ahead. Freak out!
From Octavius Cotto to Connie Mack to Edith Houghton, it's always been about more than baseball in Philadelphia. That's why, in the spirit of those pioneers, Shibe Vintage Sports is a proud supporter of the Anderson Monarchs youth baseball program in South Philly. We believe that it's important to honor the past and also invest in the future. You too can support youth baseball in Philly.
For every Philadelphia Star shirt sold, a portion will be donated to the Anderson Monarchs.
Visit shibesports.com.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. I'm Greg Murphy. This week on the Phillies Show podcast, Jeff Francoeur, former Philadelphia Philly and Atlanta Brave and now national broadcaster, talks to the guys about player development and how it has changed over the years, and in his mind, maybe not for the better.
Talk about the minor leagues, Ruben. Guys come up now, and I hear it from all sorts of I talk to the y'all's Phillies coaching staff all the time. I talk to the Braves and Mets, and the number one thing they all say is these kids don't come up and really know how to play the game, and that's the most frustrating thing to them.
Yeah, because they're not necessarily taught how to play the game; they're taught how to maximize their talent, and so that's a really important element. I'm not saying every organization is like that, but there are a lot of them, and there's a lot of people who are running their organizations who don't understand those at the essence of what it is to be a winning player, as opposed to just a player who's going to maximize his ability to play.
And I'll say this, you talk about the Phillies when y'all were there and you had Chase and Ryan and Jimmy and Halliday, you had people that loved baseball. People ask me about this Phillies team all the time right now for the last 2-3 years. I said, they got people that love to play. I mean, I golf with JT Realmuto all the time. They're all the Phillies are coming out to, I shouldn't say that, man. A few of them might be coming out to play.
Right. Got it.
They do like the golf. They do like the golf.
And they're coming out to play. I play with those guys all the time, but they love to play baseball. We get out there, and it's like, I won't bring it up specifically because I remember it's like, you're playing golf. But what do we end up talking about for 4.5 hours while we play? Baseball. And so these guys live and breathe and sleep it. Bryce Harper, I'll pay him because I know 0 for 4, it matters to him. Not the money. Yes, the money's great. He's going to make plenty, but it matters to him. Chase Utley, when he was there, he knew he was going to make plenty of money, but that son of a gun hated to lose worse than anybody. And so I said, that's the one thing the Phillies have going right now. They got people that love to play the game of baseball.
For more Phillies analysis and interviews, subscribe to The Phillies Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. I'm Greg Murphy, and congratulations once again to the great Merrill Reese on his enshrinement into the Football Hall of Fame. We certainly will all be watching in August. And congratulations, Merrill, on entering your 48th season of Philadelphia Eagles football. Certainly most of us know no other voice. Hey, Sam, I understand next week you're going to introduce us to a Phillies fan with quite the collection of memorabilia, right?
We're going to sit down with a truly passionate Phillies fan and see her impressive collection of photos that she's collected since the early 2000s. For Greg Murphy, I'm Sam Stafford, and we'll see you next week.